You're tuned in to Rebooting Liberty.
Have you ever wanted to have your own radio show? Rebooting Liberty Radio Network currently has openings for live programs. For a very small fee, we will create a show intro, bumper music, and provide technical production for your hour-long show. Email producer@rebootingliberty.com for details. You can find us at live.rebootingliberty.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Across the globe and you wonderful ecclesiastites. Welcome to the Rod Eccles Show. I am your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call tonight is toll-free, 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. And, of course, it is Freaky Friday, Fun Friday. We still haven't found a real lasting name. We'll have to definitely work for the end of the year. So we're going to call it a free-for-all, fun, Freaky Friday. How's that? We'll just throw it all in there. There you go. We do this, or I do this on a Friday, simply because try to lighten things up a bit as we head into the weekend. Because, we really tackle all the really hard-hitting, heavy subjects during the rest of the week, Monday through Thursday. And Friday, try to lighten it up a little bit. But unfortunately, I'm not going to start off that way tonight. Not going to start off on the lighter side tonight. And you know why? The information is spotty at best, of course. And every time I check, it's a different number. But suffice it to say that the number has risen to as many as 60 people being killed in Paris, France, this evening, on an apparent what appears to be an apparent coordinated Paris attack, or terrorist attack in Paris. And it is so bad. It was so bad there. I mean, frankly, these things happen fast. And I know a lot of us we can sit by and second guess and everything and say, well, why'd they take so long to respond? It's not that simple. And we should hearken back to our own 9/11/2001. When you're a peaceful people and something even when you're expecting it or you're on the lookout for it, when something out of the ordinary and totally unexpected happens, it takes a while for it to sink in, for everything to kick in. And terrorists and people who do bad things, they rely on that delay of action. It's like when we have shooters, an active shooter situation, especially on a college campus or in a public school, people are kind of frozen for a few seconds. They're not exactly sure what's going on, what they should be doing, what needs to be done next, and they're trying to think of all this stuff at the same time while trying to figure out where the person is or the shooter is, where that shooter is going to likely come into, what room they're going to come into next. And so people are thinking, well, should we hunker down? Should we run out the door? Should we, if we're on the first floor, should we try to get out the window? What are they waiting outside? There's all these things that are happening at once. And if you're not well trained, and most average everyday citizens are not well trained on how to react to something like this. Hell, even well trained people it takes a few seconds for it to click in on them and say, well, Jesus, this is happening now. So we can't yet fault the Parisians on their response to because I'm sure that these guys were not sitting still. Evidently, from what the reports that I've gotten, they were not in any one place for very long. And they kept on the move. And thus, that's why the body count, they're saying now, at least 60 people were killed. At least 60. And I'm sorry, and the French government, the president, has decided that he's going to close the borders and mobilize the military and declare a national emergency. Now, basically, it's the akin to martial law. And this is going to affect a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people who are already there, tourists especially, who are already there, tourists who want to go there. But the problem is, it's too late to close the borders. The enemy is already inside France. The enemy is already within Europe. The enemy is already inside the United States and Canada. It's too late to close your border. You don't close the border after something like this happens. You close it before something like this happens, so you prevent something like this from happening. If we're going to second guess the French and anybody else, it's the fact that they let these people into their country in the first place. Hey, we're no different. North America is no different. We have allowed these heathens, these destroyers of human beings, into our respective countries in North America as well. Now, my heart goes out to the people of France because the French citizen did not ask for this. Whatever you might say of the French, you might say they're pompous or arrogant. I don't care. French culture has given a lot to the world. I mean, mankind, civilization has benefited a lot from French civilization. And I happen to like France. I mean, yeah, the people are kind of, sure, that, you think Parisians are kind of arrogant and pompous, maybe, but I happen to like France. I happen to like French cuisine. I mean, hell, if the only thing that France gave us was French cuisine, that would be enough, because that, it takes forever to cook it, but it's absolutely delicious, especially when it's done right. It melts in your mouth. I've tasted good French cuisine, but it is absolutely marvelous. Also given us some of the best wines in the world and champagnes in the world. And they're the reason why California had to step in, another American wine vintners had to step it up. And so we got some great American wines simply because of France. Really. If you just want to talk, gastronomically, France has been a boon to world civilization. But they've given a lot more than that to civilization. They really have. Hell, France was our ally, if you want to call it that, during the Revolutionary War. If they weren't there a couple of times, late, of course, but at least if they weren't there a couple of times, especially during the last battle, if the French ships were not in that harbor, either the Revolutionary War would have went on longer and we probably would have lost, or we just would have lost a lot earlier. And our founding fathers, instead of reading about how they founded a country, would be reading British history about how they hung a bunch of rabble-rousing rebels and traitors to the crown. Really. So if anything, the French helped give the world the United States of America, which then turned around and came back and saved the free world not once, but twice. World War I, World War II, in case anybody wants to doubt me. If the United States did not enter World War I, the Allies at the time, the British and the French, would have eventually lost. If we didn't enter World War II, Britain would have fell, and that would have been the end of Europe. And the United States would be standing alone trying to defend itself on our land, on our shores, against Germany and Japan, and we might not have survived. So we saved the world not once, but twice. And neither of those times was it an easy task. No, it was hard and took years to accomplish. But what is happening in France should not be happening in France right now. 9/11, 2001 in the United States should not have happened. Shouldn't. It should not have happened. What's happening in France what's happening in Germany, what's happening in Sweden, what's happening in Hungary, what's happening in Austria should not happen. We know what these people are about. There is no melding or cultural melting together with them. They are never going to assimilate into Western or Eastern culture. Look, China and India understand this. Russia understands this. I do not understand why the Western world does not understand this. Look, I don't see Islam or Muslims trying to infiltrate South and Central America. Well, first of all, they're kind of heavily Catholic, for one. But to a lot of those countries, I don't know, if you send Islam into those countries, I mean, like, Colombia and maybe Argentina and parts of Mexico and El Salvador, you're going to get the drug lords, for one, taking them out. Because there can't be any terrorists but the drug lords in those countries, for one. And two, those governments are not going to go against the massive majority of Catholics and let the Muslims adopt anything in those countries. It's just not going to happen. They're going to have to be taken by force. But you don't see South America as being a target. You don't see Asia as being a target, even though you have Malaysia, which is the world's most populous Islamic nation. You don't see them trying to infiltrate because, China and Japan and Korea and places like that, in Vietnam, they don't allow that kind of crap. Where do you see Muslims going? They're invading Europe and North America because we're allowing them to. Being frank, they're invading those areas because we are allowing them to do so. I mean, we're allowing, well, not we, but France has allowed basically whole towns to become Sharia law enclaves. England is facing the same thing. Now, you have to ask, when are these types of things that have just happened in Paris, when are they going to happen in other places? Sweden right now is overwhelmed with these people. They don't know what to do with them. They've tried. Look, you got these small German towns. You've got Greeks. They're coming into Greece by the boatload, and they're getting off in ports in Greece and trying to walk their way to Germany. And you've got Greek citizens, the Greek people who are in their path, that are crying out for, they don't have the police protection. The police are overwhelmed in these small Greek towns that these massive amounts of people are walking through on their way to try to get to Germany. I mean, you got countries like Hungary and in other places that are saying, we're not taking any. We're closing the border. We're shutting down. We're putting up fence. They're putting up fences. Oh, wait a minute. We can't put up a fence, right? Because fences don't keep people out. You can't build a fence that long. Fences don't work. You got all these European nations putting up fences to keep these people out. Yet you've got the so-called enlightened ones who, Angela Merkel of Germany. Now she's, once revered as probably the strongest supported European leader in the European Union, is now concerned that she may not survive, her government may not survive the rest of the year. Because the German people are so pissed off and upset and overwhelmed by her allowing these Muslims into their country without assimilating into becoming Germans. Well, there's no way they can do that, by the way. There's just no way. Look, Muslims cannot immigrate to this country and then expect to, we expect them to meld and integrate and assimilate into American society. It's impossible. Their religion is not only a religion, it is also their full way of life and their governance. It is diametrically opposed to Western belief, Western thought, Western philosophy, and the Constitution. All we're going to do is butt heads. They cannot assimilate because they cannot accept the notion of the Constitution. They cannot assimilate into any European nation because they cannot accept the notion of whatever freedom that those countries do still have. They cannot accept the notion of freedom of religion, which most European countries have. They cannot accept any of that stuff. So they are diametrically opposed to what any European nation has to offer. And whatever those cultures are against Islam. Because Islam says you are to take them over. You're to destroy that type of civilization, that type of culture, because it is abhorrent to Allah. The only thing acceptable is what Allah has dictated. And it isn't Western society. It isn't Eastern society. It is only Islamic society. There is no science. There is no freedom. There is no philosophy. There is nothing but Allah. Do you understand? That is not compatible with any other civilization on this planet. They will not assimilate. They will do what they did in Paris tonight, what they did at 9/11/2001, what they continue to do over the past decade or 2 decades in Europe, in Asia, in the Western world. They will continue to do it because it is their duty to issue a caliphate and to bring in paradise, which is nothing but Islam. There is no denying it. There is no compromise. And once you let them in, it is too late to close your border. Because think about it. World War II is going on. The United States lets Nazis immigrate to the USA. And then all of a sudden, Japan bombs Pearl Harbor. And then the United States says, oh, well, we're just going to close our borders and stop the Nazis from coming in. Too late. They're already here. You get my point. You can't stop the flow. It's like trying to dam up all the water after the lake has been drained. Too late. This will not be the end in Paris, in France. It will not be the last one. This is not going to be the last time something like this happens in Europe at all. This is not something that the United States can prevent from happening here. Now, frankly, I want people to understand. I want people to understand and think about something. If we have a problem, which we really don't have a problem, but if we have a problem with shooters on college and public school campuses, with one shooter, what do you think is going to happen if there is a coordinated attack with multiple active terrorist shooters? Just bent on maximum destruction. Now, see, usually when you have a crazed shooter, they're just, they're not bent on maximum destruction. I mean, they only seem to go so far until somebody approaches them and tries to stop them. Somebody else with a gun, then they usually kill themselves. A terrorist is not going to do that. Their whole objective is maximum destruction and maximum death, and they will fight you to the end. And that's something that we better understand pretty darn quick. Let me tell you, these people they mean business. They are serious as a heart attack. That was one well-coordinated attack in Paris. Look, I'm being frank, because the French police, the French military, they're not slouches when it comes to terrorism, because they've had to deal with these types of things in the past. They deal with the the Muslim unrest in certain towns and enclaves around the country. They're not novices to this. It's not like they've never dealt with this thing before. They're not newbies to this. They fully understand what has to be done, what needs to be done right away, how to corral these types of things. They're well trained, and these terrorists still maximize the body count of at least 60 people, put the entire country on lockdown. And had the president basically call a state of emergency or near martial law. Think maybe it was a little bit coordinated and rehearsed and practiced? Do you think those types of cells exist in countries all over the West and in North America? Yes, we know that there are terror cells here, waiting for the word to be activated. The only difference is that in certain places here in the United States, there are an abundance of people that are legally carrying guns that will fire back, and that's probably the only reason why we haven't seen something like Paris happen in the U.S. yet.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Toll free 603-835-3224 is the number. Hey, how about tomorrow night's, it's tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow night's Democratic presidential debate between three Democratic contenders. I don't understand that this was done on purpose. On a Saturday night, they know nobody's going to be paying attention on a Saturday night. What they should have done, if they wanted people to watch and pay attention, is that they should, you know what they should have a half-hour debate just before Saturday Night Live. You know, delay Saturday Night Live for a half hour. Put on the Democratic presidential debate for 30 minutes before Saturday Night Live, and they would get a ton of millions of people on both sides of the political aisle watching. Now, of course, they're going to be upset because they're expecting to see Saturday Night Live, but they'll stay tuned in for 30 minutes. Because otherwise, everybody's going to be thinking about, if they're going to be, the people that, actually, maybe, a lot of people wouldn't be. The younger set, who are probably Bernie Sanders fans, they're too busy getting, during this time that the debate is going to be on, they're going to be too busy primping and preparing for going out in the town and hitting the bars. Or, they may be getting jiggy with it on some of the hookup sites like Tinder, right? No, Tinder. That's it, Tinder. See, I'm hip, I'm cool, I know this stuff. They're probably getting jiggy with it on Tinder. And there's a whole bunch of them. Well, no, it's not. It's not. The real dating sites, which are like Match.com and was it eCupid? eCupid one of them? Well, I know there's hookup sites, and I know there's hookup sites for straights and gays. And do lesbians have a hookup site? That would be. I don't know. I'm sorry, folks. I like to think that I'm hip to a lot of the culture, pop culture stuff. Some of the stuff I just don't know about. Some of the stuff I just don't want to know about. I mean, I try to get all this stuff and all this information so you don't have to get a brain ache like I often do. And people say, well, just take some aspirin. No, that's for aspirin. And, things like acetaminophen, Tylenol, what have you, ibuprofen, that's all for headaches. And maybe even, Excedrin migraine? That's even for migraines, the real intense types of headaches. There is no chemical medication available to alleviate a brain ache. And I often get brain aches when I am preparing to bring this program to you, when I'm doing my daily research. When I look at this stuff and I have to read it and watch it and listen to it, also you don't have to do all of that. I save you from a lot of this garbage and crapola, and it just gives me this liberal ridiculousness that just gives me a brain ache. So I'm sorry, you'll have to forgive me on certain aspects of our culture if I'm not privy to it. I don't know of any, off the top of my head, I don't know of any lesbian hookup sites. Now, I know that the main hookup site for straight people, men and women, is Tinder, right? Tinder, yes. And the main hookup site for gays is Grindr. Grindr. Right? Yeah, Grindr. And they're not like Match.com or eHarmony or any. Those are real, dating sites. Now, I do believe that. What is EQ? eCupid is a dating site. Yeah, it's a straight dating, or is that a gay dating site? I don't know. I can't remember. There's so many of them, I can't remember. In any event, all those people are going to be out. They're not going to be interested in listening to or watching the great Democratic debate. And this is exactly what the lamestream media and the Democratic Party is counting on, that the numbers that are watching are going to be extremely low. This is all to protect Hillary Rodham Clinton. Really, this is a show for Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now Bernie Sanders is out there saying, well, he's really going to start attacking and hitting on Hillary Clinton. They're not going to allow him to. See, Bernie hasn't figured it out yet. The DNC, Democratic National Committee, is not going to allow Bernie Sanders to get the nomination. It's kind of like the RNC, the Republican National Committee, is doing everything in its power to prevent Donald Trump from getting the Republican nomination. Look, now it's in the open that the establishment is trying to draft Romney. Well, they have Rubio there, but now all of them are, all the candidates are piling on Rubio, and Rubio's got this huge negative with amnesty, where Trump has got this huge positive on the anti-amnesty side, and now they're afraid, well, they can't even raise Rubio up. But I'm telling you, if Rubio is the nominee for the Republican side, and Hillary's the nominee for the Democratic side, you're looking at a President Hillary Clinton for 4 years. I don't care what the polls are telling you right now. I'm telling you, in the end, it is going to be just like Romney and McCain against Obama. Marco Rubio will lose, and probably lose big, to Hillary Clinton. I don't care if those polls are telling you, well, yeah, Romney could beat, or Rubio could beat Hillary. No. It won't happen. Don't doubt me. Just about any other main candidate right now that is still in the race would beat Hillary, would clean her clock, but not Rubio. And even Jeb would have a difficult time, but Rubio would lose. Now, I'm sorry, but this is the end of Rubio's current political career, because he's not running for re-election for Senate in Florida. Up in 2016, right? So he's not running for the Senate and the presidency. So it means he's going to be out of action for a little while. As a senator or as an elected official from Florida, he's going to be out. It doesn't mean that he can't come back and what is it? The next time the Senate has a vote for Florida, I think it's in 4 years from now. It's not 2. I think it's 4. Because didn't they have voted for a senator 2 years ago, right? 14. I may have that wrong. I don't live in Florida, so I don't know. But they may have it in 14, which means that they're not going to have one in 18. It's going to be 20. So he'll be out of action for 4 years. at least. I mean, he could probably more than that, because I don't know if he's going to be. Ends up being the establishment boy. Well, he can do just about anything he wants and probably get away with it. But you have the Republican establishment that doesn't want Trump. You have the Democratic establishment that doesn't want Sanders. So I think it's kind of interesting that the two major parties, regardless of who their constituency wants. No, I'm not saying that they want the Democratic constituency wants Sanders, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter what their constituency wants. The party heads, the party leaders, the party power brokers, they have who they want, and that's all that counts. The DNC, Hillary. Oh, it's her turn. Yeah, Hillary. For the RNC, it's either Jeb or Rubio. They can't have anybody else. They don't want. Hell, Jeb is tanking, so they went to Rubio. Rubio is getting pounded and hurt all over the place, and he's got the negatives on this amnesty thing. He just can't get over that. Now they're reaching out openly to Romney, the guy who's already lost twice. Do you understand? He ran against McCain. He couldn't win the primary. He couldn't get the nomination. He lost. Then when he got the nomination 4 years later, he couldn't beat a very bad president. He couldn't beat a very bad sitting president. He lost. What do they want to give him? Strike number 3? They want to give the poor guy 3 strikes? All right, Romney did the bright thing. He stayed out this time. He's like, no, I had enough. I'm done. And now they're out there saying, hey, Romney, man, Mitt, man, you got to think about this. You got to come back. You got to save the RNC. You got to be the Republican mainstream moderate candidate, man. You're the only one. All the moderates will come out for you, man. They may be split on Rubio and Jeb, but they'll unite behind you. And he'll lose again. Only this time he'll lose to Hillary. Do we really want another 4 years of a third Barack Obama term? We definitely can't afford or survive that. We can't. Sorry. We just can't. We can't afford another 4 years of more than 95 million people, Americans, without a job, out of the workforce. We can't afford another 4 years of no real economic growth. We can't afford another 4 years of stagnant wages. I mean, people are not making any more money than they were like 10 years ago. This is ridiculous. There is no real wage growth. There is no buying power increase in people's wages. None, zero, zip, nada. The government tells us this every single quarter. So it's not like we're making it up. The government is telling us this. There's no real wage growth. No, we can't afford to keep having an endless wave of illegal immigrants coming across our borders. We can't afford another 4 years of being indecisive and wimpy and mamby-pamby on Islamic fundamentalism and extremism and terrorism. We can't afford another 4 years where Putin and Xi from China get to run the world rampant without any pushback from the United States. We can't afford this. That's exactly what we'll get. We get a Rubio or a Romney. Not going to get a Bush. I mean, I think it would be a miracle if Bush is. All bets are on Rubio. A Rubio. We can't afford a Romney. We sure is, simply because they won't win. I mean, it's pretty much like all of Bernie Sanders wants to give stuff out for free. Free is going to cost us $18 trillion plus. Free's too expensive. We can't afford free. We're going to have this debate. Nobody's going to watch. And if Sanders does, nobody's going to hear him. Nobody's going to notice him. Mainstream media isn't going to focus on them. Fox News really isn't going to care because it's going to be a ho-hum-humdrum. I'm not going to be paying attention. No, you might get some of the other big talkers out there who might get some clips and play them for you, but they're not going to be paying attention either. You think Rush Limbaugh is going to pay attention to Saturday's Democratic, two of which are just up there for show? I'm not going to do it either. Especially after that last Democrat dude. What a debacle. Love fest. I'm sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails. He's over there. Yeah, me too. So it's it's good. Well, you'll have Saturday Night Live preceded by Saturday Night News, preceded by whatever Saturday night programming comes on at 10 to 11, preceded by Saturday Night of the Dead. Democratic. Saturday Night of the Dead. You won't have to. You won't have to watch Walking Dead because they'll be on stage. I know I'm laughing at my own jokes, but come on. Think about it, folks. You're gonna have you're gonna have Debating Dead. How's that? The Debating Dead on Saturday night. Well, because Walking Dead comes on the new episodes are every Sunday, right? Well, Saturday you get the preview. It's Debating Dead. Here's something that's a little, well, speaking of dead, again, we try to do things. I know I started off the show a little bit heavy because of the incidents in Paris, France, but that needed to be talked about. But let's face it. Speaking of the dead, still on the lighter side. Try to do on Fridays. That's why we call it. Here from the Daily Mail. Dead. The dead. The dead. The dead are being farmed. What? Yeah. Well, it's not exactly zombieism, but it is. It's they're saying it's for research, and they're looking for people to donate their body to medical science. Now, here's the deal: you would leave your body to medical science and leave it to be used in a body farm. And you're probably, what a body? What the hell is a body farm? Here's a story from the Daily Mail. Human remains left to decompose in the open air in the name of research. Here's the question, would you leave your body to medical science if it meant going to a body farm? Human taphonomy, Taphonomy, human taphonomy studies what happens to an organism after its death. Body farms exist in the U.S., and one is due to open outside Sydney, Australia in 2016. Attempts to open a body farm in the UK have failed due to lack of support. Anna Williams is professor of forensic anthropology at the University of Huddersfield. The popularity of body farms in which human remains are left exposed to the elements is slowly building. Bodies or inmates are donated to these human taphonomy facilities, and their decomposition is studied to learn more about forensic science. Now, while the UK and the rest of Europe have so far declined to open such facilities, a growing number of successful body farms in the US and soon in Australia is slowly changing attitudes. Now, I've never heard of such a thing before. You could be out for a walk in the woods, come across a decomposing body, freak out, call 911, and next thing you know, you have all these, emergency people running out there looking at this body, only to find out that the body was donated to science, who then, these scientists who are studying human taphonomy and how bodies decompose, and toss them out and call it a body farm. Well, look, I guess a mass murderer might have something new. He might start, saying, hey, would you don't start? I know this is probably not funny, but can you imagine this? A mass murderer decides to start sending out, before he becomes a mass murderer. I could see this being on or Cold Case, or one of those TV where somebody's a potential or a future serial killer starts sending out applications for people to sign to donate their bodies to science after they die, and then figuring so they murder this person, dump their body in the open, and then you find that, they have given their body to science. I know that sounds sick, people, but look, in order to catch criminals, sometimes you got to think like, maybe I should have been a Sherlock Holmes investigator, but sometimes you got to think, well, not sometimes, in order to catch a thief, you got to think like a thief. In order to catch a mass murderer, you got to think like a mass murderer. I think that's probably why a lot of these people who are into these serious types of law professions that look into these types of crimes don't last very long. They burn out. Because, it's got to be maddening to have to think like these people on a constant basis in order to catch them. I mean, it's got to mess with your mind. I can see that would happen. But in any case, bodies are donated to body farms, and their decomposition is studied to learn more about forensic science. Now, facilities for human taphonomy, the study of what happens to an organism after its death, are unique outdoor labs where scientists can monitor the processes of human decomposition in a variety of different situations. For example, they are interested to learn whether a body decomposes differently if it's locked inside a car boot or submerged in water, and if the body is clothed, naked, or wrapped in a duvet. Really? We really want to know that kind of stuff? There are currently 6 functioning facilities in the U.S., with one opening outside Sydney, Australia in 2016, and the possibility of one in India. There are 6 functioning facilities currently in the United States. Human decomposition is a complex process susceptible to changes in ambient temperature, local climate, and surrounding conditions. Each of these places has its own pattern of decomposition because each environment is different. Say in the U.S. alone, might be affected by raccoons and coyotes. Australia, dingoes could be a problem. Then in Texas will decompose differently than those in Fox Valley, Wisconsin. So I guess they have a body farm in Texas, and they have a body farm in... I don't know. How do you put up with the odor? I mean, because if you've ever walked by or near a larger animal, the smell will knock you off your feet. I mean, it's gross. It's disgusting. You know something is dead. So imagine a human being. Ever walked by a dead deer? I mean, you could be 100, like 50 yards from that thing, and you're smelling it. And you wonder, what the hell? And you see the what's remains of the carcass of a dead deer. Imagine a human being. Unimagine. We'll be right back.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You're tuned in to Rebooting Liberty.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Talk radio here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live once again from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And we continue on with, for all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites alike, the number here is 603-835-3224. Washington Times. Amherst College students protest free speech flyers. I kid you not. WashingtonTimes.com. Amherst College students protest free speech flyers, seek punishment for offenders. Now, I'm trying to figure out when I saw this headline come across my newsfeed, I'm like, what? How do you punish what? Well, here's the rub, or the story. Student protesters at Amherst College issued a list of demands yesterday, which include disciplinary action and mandatory radical and cultural competency training I'm sure racial and cultural competency training. How do you what? I never quite understood. So, racial and cultural competency training for students behind a series of signs on campus that lamented the death of free speech. So, racial and cultural competency training means you can't speak what's on your mind, evidently. Now, the group Amherst Uprising is demanding that University President Biddy Martin issue a statement saying that the university does not tolerate the actions of students who posted the All Lives Matter posters and the free speech posters, which charge that the First Amendment was the true victim of the University of Missouri protest. So students of the university at Amherst students at Amherst College. Well, the students demand that the people behind the free speech flyers and posters be required to undergo extensive training for racial and cultural competency. So if they go through this racial and cultural competency, it means that they're going to come out of this racial and cultural competency training believing that all lives do not matter, in that everyone does not have free speech rights? Is that what so they're going to be indoctrinated? Is that what they're saying? They're going to be brainwashed? Is that what they're saying? Are they going to be brainwashed to believe that the First Amendment is not a victim and does not exist and should not exist in this country? Is that what this wonderful racial and cultural competency? Well, how about cultural? The First Amendment, the Constitution, is all about the American culture. It is maybe we don't have the right people teaching these racial and cultural competency classes. We need people who believe in the Constitution teaching these racial and cultural competency classes. Because, here in the United States, the Constitution says that all men are created equal. And they back that up with a few additional amendments. But I guess that doesn't count. Because now that you're out there saying all lives matter, I say all lives matter. I guess I need to go to racial and cultural competency courses. Now, President Martin must also apologize for the college's institutional legacy of white supremacy, colonialism, anti-black racism, anti-Latinx racism, anti-Native American racism, anti-Native Indigenous racism. Well, isn't a Native American and Indigenous the same people? Anti-Native Indigenous racism, anti-Asian racism, anti-Middle Eastern racism, heterosexism, cissexism, for cisgenders. I still don't know what a cisgender is. Xenophobia, anti-Semitism. What? Ableism, mental health stigma, and classism. These are all the things that this college group says that the president of Amherst College must apologize for. Do you want me to go over that list again? I mean, I have never, I can't recall the last time I read such complete and utter tripe. I mean, what a bunch of balderdash. I know I'm getting kind of British on you, but I have to in order to keep from cursing my head off at the moment. This is the most redonkulous thing one of the most redonkulous things I've ever heard of. It's not. This is what's going on our college campi. But this is. Let me read to you again what President Martin must do. The president of Amherst College. And this is what Amherst Uprising is demanding that President Biddy Martin do. He must issue an apology for the college's institutional legacy of white supremacy, colonialism, anti-black racism, anti-Latinx or Latinoism, racism, anti-Native American racism, anti-Native Indigenous peoples racism, anti-Asian racism, anti-Middle Eastern racism, heterosexualism, sexism for cisgenders, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, ableism, mental health stigma, and classism. Now, I'm guessing ableism is against those who would be classified as handicapped. There you have it. And they demand that the people behind the free speech flyers and posters should be required to. So if you say, here's the deal. It has now gotten to the point where if you say anything at all, that is somebody from the left completely disagrees with, does not agree with you on, and they are a leftist, and because, they're the all-inclusive, all-encompassing, all-caring, all-accepting left, that if you say something that they disagree with, that they do not agree with, that is against their beliefs, they are going to require that you either, one, be thrown in jail, or two, be required to go through some sort of training, sensitivity training, in order to shut you up. Just saying. That's what they're pulling out. I don't know, folks. I don't know. I don't know how to even begin to tell you how bad this is. I mean, folks, before we've had this sort of covert attack on our Constitution. They try to do things behind closed doors, and they'd make certain laws that would really be offensive to the Constitution. But now it's just an out-and-out, outright, overt, full frontal attack and war on the United States Constitution. To these nut jobs, political correctness trumps the Constitution. You no longer have the ability, you no longer have the right to say something that is contrary or deemed to be offensive or hurtful to another liberal. Now, the problem is that even liberals are going to be offended by what other liberals say, just depending on how liberal that liberal is that's being offended. Or not being offended. I mean, a moderate liberal might offend an extreme liberal, and an extreme liberal might offend a moderate liberal. So what are they going to do to them? But there is an overt, all-out war on our Constitution. They are absolutely overtly telling you that you do not have the right to say what is on your mind. You do not have the right to free expression because you might offend somebody, and you don't have a right to offend somebody, which is absolutely BS. If you get offended by what I say, that's not my problem. I cannot control whether or not you are offended by my speech. I could say, walk down the street, say, good afternoon, I hope you're having a nice day to everybody I meet, and it's going to offend somebody. So am I not supposed to talk at all now? Well, that's what the left would like, unless, hey, but all I'm doing is saying, I hope you're having a nice day. Hello. That's going to, hell, if I walk by a Muslim, I don't even know they're Muslim. You know, maybe it's an Islamic female. I don't know. She's not wearing the habib and the face covering and all that other garb. And I don't know if she's Islamic. And I walk by and say, "Hi, ma'am, how are you?" Well, that can be deemed offensive. I'm not supposed to talk to a Islamic woman. Unless you're supposed to talk to her male handler. But, the male handler is walking so far in front of her, I don't know that he's with her. Now, I might think she's kind of pretty. Just say, "Hi, ma'am, how are you today? Great day, isn't it?" And next thing I know, I'm probably getting a knife in my back. Why? Because I offended somebody. Just by saying hello. I can't control whether or not somebody's going to get offended by me saying hello. I can't control if somebody turns on this program and they get offended by what I say. I can't help that. There are a lot of people that aren't offended that listen to this program. Evidently, well over 100,000 people per month listen to this program, so they're not offended. So what? I'm supposed to just shut down? I'm supposed to be shut up and sent away and sent off to sensitivity training because one person tunes in out of well over 100,000 people in a month and they're offended? You know what I tell them, right? Yeah, I'd really offend them then. Because I tell them where they could go. Rod, no. That's wicked offensive, Rod. Yeah, go to 1st and 5th. How's that? I don't know. There is a 1st and 5th. There's probably a 1st and 5th. There is. I've never been there. I think I've been there. I have to look it up on a map. Is there a 1st and 5th? It would be 1st Street. No. Wait, it can't be 1st and 5th. It would have to be 2nd and 5th. No, I don't know how they're. It's streets go one way and avenues go the other way, correct? In New York City? Avenues always cross streets and streets always cross avenues. Is that the way it works? Because you got 5th Ave. I could be wrong. I'm not a New York City or cityer, whatever they call it. I don't know how that works. I know it's pretty much a grid with Broadway cutting a strange swath down the middle of Manhattan, but avenues go one way, streets go another way, right? Maybe outside, yeah. So is there a 1st and... Because it's not odd even. See, I don't know everything. I admit it. I try to figure it out a lot of times, but unless I go look... See, I do what Albert Einstein did. I just go look stuff up if I really want to know it. And then once I look it up, I'll most likely remember it. So I'll know it forever. That's the good thing about edumacation. When you self-educate... Kind of like self-medicate. But when you well, you can get high on education, but when you self-educate, it's something that's gratifying that sticks with you for a very long period of time because it's something that you want to know about and you want to seek out the information. That's part of the reason why I like doing the show, because I get to self-educate, so I can educate you, the listener, what I have learned for the day. It can be a lot of fun. Hey, did you know? Did you know? This is for all you Appleites out there. Apple, the company Apple, the Steve Jobs Apple. Did you know that? And for those of you who don't know, that voice and accent is, Smart from Get Smart. Would you believe? Apple is pulling the plug on Beats Music. Yes, I'm sorry, but they are. Apple is pulling the plug on Beats Music. Subscriptions to the streaming service will be canceled on November 30th. If you have an Apple service, Beats Music service, it is going to be canceled November 30. That's your last day for it. Beats Music was set up by Dr. Dre and recording executive Jimmy Levine. Apple has already announced that the service will cease on November 30th. Tech giant is encouraging users to move to Apple Music in the run-up. Apple bought Beats Music back in June of 2014 in a $3 billion acquisition. So, all those Beats headphones and everything that cost you like $150, that's now Apple. So Apple is finally closing the door on Beats Music and is going to push all those people towards Apple Music streaming service. So the California-based tech giant will pull the plug out of Beats Music on November 30th, when all subscriptions for the service will be canceled. So you're going to have to go from Beats to Apple Music. According to the support document, Beats Music will cease at the end of this month. The statement said all the pros that curated music for use are still crafting more amazing experiences. Stuff that you used to hear on Beats, but over on Apple Music. So basically it took, half to figure out how to convert all you Beats people over. It must have been a lot of subscribers to Beats for Apple to pay $3 billion for it. Dr. Dre made out. By the way, did you know that Apple Beats Music acquisition, transfer, whatever, $3 billion acquisition cost was by far the most expensive in Apple's 38-year history. I don't know if Steve Jobs would have spent that kind of money for it, but Tim Cook, now the big guy at Apple, the guy who's openly gay, I guess he likes Dre. There you go. So you're going to have to go over to Apple in order to get. Now, I don't know about, it said nothing about all those Beats by Dre headphones. I don't, what are they going to be? Beats by Apple now? Or is it Dre's headphones by Apple? I don't know. I don't know if they're changing it. Story didn't say. Just going to have to figure that one out on your own. Those headphones aren't cheap, by the way. And just because you're paying $150 doesn't mean... I've tested some of the headphones in stores. Now, it's not scientific, of course, but just for my own preferences. And I get some of the expensive... Yeah, there are some expensive ones. For expensive, I'm going to say over $50. Some of the expensive ones are very good. But some of the $20 brands, that mid-price range, sound better or just as good as those expensive ones. So I don't see the need for paying, $80, $90, $100 for those expensive ones when those $20 or $25 ones sound just as good and sometimes better. All because, one has the well-known name on it attached to it and one doesn't. So you're paying for the name when it comes to that kind of stuff. Kind of like where, sneakers. Do you really But do you really need those really expensive sneakers, or can you get by with a cheaper brand? And are they going to last any longer than the cheaper ones? Probably not. Not when it comes to that stuff. But I won't say who, because we know who. We know, and he's opening stores now by himself, all his own. Own brand, own name. Flying through the air, expensive stuff. Sure, they might look cool. They might look. You go to Marshall's or some other knockoff place, pay less or something. Find that lasts you just as long. Look almost as good. But they don't have the same name, but they look close. They're kind of a knockoff. But do you really need to spend $250 for a pair of sneakers, or would $35 do you? I'm just saying. Disagree if you want to. Oh, do I need to go to sensitivity training now because I've just mocked all the people that bought these expensive things because something less expensive is just as good as a more expensive thing? Oh, wow. Sorry I insulted you.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we are back. It's already the last segment for the week here at the Rod Eccles Show. And glad you listened in this week and this evening. I'll be back here next week for some more great stuff, great content that you're going to be able to chew on like gristle. Learn some stuff. Politico.com. One state's unlikely Obamacare replacement plan. Single payer. Yeah. See, again, you know, I remember telling liberals that single payer was the goal of the left. And I had people tell me, no, it's not going to be. That's not the case, Rod. You just don't want Obamacare. You just don't want people to have health care. You're just lying and all this other stuff that try to tell me that I was wrong about the eventuality of single payer. Well, guess what? One state's unlikely Obamacare replacement plan, because evidently Obamacare and all the exchanges has failed in at least 12 of the 23 states now. Colorado. Rocky Mountain High in Colorado. Isn't that, who is, that's, he sang the Virginia song too. Home country roads to the West Virginia, to the place I belong, West Virginia. Colorado will vote on the plan, long favored by liberals, bringing a big healthcare fight to the swing state. By the way, all that singing part, that's ready for the weekend. Have some fun. Don't be so serious. Why so serious? Well, this is serious, evidently. They're going to actually vote on it. November 2016. One of the most detailed plans to replace Obamacare this year comes not from a Republican critic, but from a group in the swing state of Colorado that is proposing to scrap it for a single payer model, which has been long sought by liberals. Supporters who won approval this week for a 2016 ballot measure after securing nearly 110,000 signatures deemed valid will sell the overhaul as an Obamacare replacement plan designed in Colorado instead of... Who cares where it's designed? It's still government takeover of health care. You don't have any... Look, I don't understand why we just don't get to be able to pick and choose. Seriously, I don't. I don't understand why we don't get to pick and choose. If you want a government should be able to, should be competing on the open market like everybody else. If you want a government-regulated plan, you should be able to buy into it. If you want a single-payer government plan, government takes care of everything, you should buy into it. If you want your own private type of insurance, you should be able to buy into it. If you don't want to have health care insurance at all, you should be able to not buy into it. Get my point? I mean, look, this is the United States of America. How often do we got to say, you do not, I'm sorry, folks. You do not have a right to health care. You don't have a right to it. Why? Because it is somebody else's expertise. You do not have a right to somebody else's expertise and education without due compensation to them, whatever that they deem is fair. If they want to give you their expertise for free, that is up to them. They can do so. But if they want to charge you a reasonable fee for it, you don't have a right to try to take it from them for nothing or for less than they duly can get on the open market. In other words, if you want to go to your doctor for an exam and your doctor charges $200 for a physical exam, and the government comes in and says, nope, you can't charge more than $100, but the doctor has all these patients lined up willing to give him $200, the government has no right to tell him that he's got to take $100 for his exam. None. Zip. Zero. Nada. They don't have a right to determine that. No, again, this is the government getting in between the people and getting in between two people who want to do business together. And frankly, that's what healthcare is. It's a business. I know we don't like to think of it that way, but it is. Which is why you don't have the right to it. You don't have the right to somebody else's expertise, their knowledge, their research without just compensation. I hear all this talk about, well, these drug companies are just charging an arm. I understand that it might be bad to charge like $1,500 a pill for a cancer drug that could probably, extend or save somebody's life. But, at the same time, you don't have a right to go in there and tell them that they need to charge less. You don't. You just don't. You didn't develop it. You didn't do the research on it. You didn't spend the money to develop it. You didn't try to get it past the FDA. You didn't spend years and years and years on. You have no rights on that particular drug. So therefore, if that person or company wants to charge $1,500 a pill, you either buy it or you don't. That's your choice. But Ron, it could save somebody's life. I do not care. You do not have a right to it. Some people may think that I'm being cold. No, I'm being a humanist. Understand that every human being has a right to their own potential. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you are capable of doing, you have a right to it. Nobody else does. Nobody else has a right to your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, unless you offer it to them for just compensation, whatever it happens to be for you. It could be from $0 compensation to all the way up to $1 million. I don't care. You don't have a right. Nobody has a right to your information or your knowledge, your experience without just compensation. That extends to any field you happen to be in. I don't know why we all of a sudden think that, this just because you're in the medical profession, now you no longer have any rights to your stuff, your education, your knowledge, your experience, that you're supposed to just give it for free. How are you supposed to live? How are you supposed to put a roof over your head? How are you supposed to feed yourself? How are you supposed to put gas in your car or pay for the electricity for your Prius? How? If you're giving everything away because the government says it should be free because everybody's got a right to your health care is a right. Everybody's got a right to your knowledge, your expertise, your time, all that kind of stuff. No, nobody does. Nobody does. Zip, zero, nada, people. Health care is not a human right. No, that may sound controversial to some people, but it really isn't. Because all you people who think that healthcare is a human right, you're freaking lying hypocrites. Because let me tell you what's more important than healthcare. Food and water. But I don't hear a single person out there from the left talking about taking over big farm or big government or big grocery store or Walmart or anything like that. Oh, no. I don't hear you talking about taking over big water, things like that, but you just want to take over healthcare. Why? And you want to call you can live a lifetime, years and years, decades and decades without medical assistance. We'll live healthily. They can go decades without seeing a doctor or stepping foot in the hospital. No big deal to them. You try living without food and water for, without water for more than a few days, or without food for a month or two. How long you last? Food and water isn't a human right. And again, it's not, because you got to earn it. One way or the other, whether you go out and make it yourself, make the food yourself by gathering it or hunting it or growing it or buying it, you don't get to eat. Unless, of course, you want to be on government assistance. I mean, think about that for a second. Jesus Christ even said it. If you do not work, speaking of those who are fully capable and able of working, if ye do not work, then ye does not eat. But people think that you have a right to somebody else's expertise in healthcare. You don't have a right to a computer person's skill and expertise, but you got a right to somebody's healthcare education and expertise. Pittsburgh CBS Local. Clarion University play is canceled. Wait till you hear why. A group of students at Clarion University were set for the opening night of a stage production. Then they got the news that the show must not go on. We've put in all this work and can't finish the last section, like nothing is going to get finished, said Courtney Chaplin, the stage manager for the play Jesus or Jesus in India. Clarion University was told to cancel the play by none other than the playwright. That hasn't been torn down yet, but the marquee outside Little Theater reads, this production has been canceled. The playwright cited ethnic composition. Did you not? Now, Mary Louise Michael, Clarion, M-I-C-H-E-L is Michael. Mary Louise, M-A-R-I-L-O-U-I. Clarion University professor of theater and the play's director explains what she was told. On Monday afternoon, I received an email from the playwright telling me that he demanded that we recast the show with Asian actors or shut down our production. Now, of course, that was a lot easier said than done because, this university obviously just evil. All this, white privilege here. Because, too many white people go to this, predominantly white university. College. She says, we don't have a large population of Asian students at the university. We opened our auditions to all of the students at the university, and obviously not enough of them came out. So Jesus in India is a contemporary take on the lost years of Jesus Christ as a wayward teenager along his journey to the East, complete with punk rock music and drugs written by Lloyd Suh. S-U-H. Now, he's a Korean American who writes plays primarily for Asian theaters and Asian companies to promote opportunities for Asian actors. But that's not racist, folks. What? There's no Asian privilege going on here. Let me tell you. Now, now, I don't know how they got past this in the first place, but students had been rehearsing for weeks for the 5-performance show. The production cost the university roughly $15,000 in costumes, the set, the lighting, and the music score, plus $500 paid to the playwright for the rights. So, wait. So the university paid the playwright $500 for the rights to put on this program. Yeah, don't worry. The playwright says the university will get their $500 back. But they paid the man. They paid the playwright his asking fee to put on this play. He obviously knew who the college was. It's not like the college just pulled it off the internet and said, "Yeah, we're going to do this." No, they had to contact him, pay him, so he had to give his approval, and then he took the money, which was his approval, and now he's saying, "Well, no, you don't have enough." Now, the 6 cast members and members of the crew are heartbroken about this, calling it a tremendous loss. Well, hey, it's liberalism come back to bite you liberals in the behind. Frankly, that's exactly what happened. Only 6. I guess they couldn't find 6 Asian actors willing to do this play. I guess maybe they couldn't even. It doesn't even say if they even had one, but I guess they couldn't find any. Now, 2 of the actors, one by the name of Victoria Heckert, Heckert, and Kia Harrington Weimer, Harington-Wymer, Wymer. Kia, K-I-A, not the car. A-I-A-H for Kia. Now, Heckert said, "Mostly we are dealing with this like a death in the family." That's what it feels like. I don't know about you, but having a play canceled is not like having a death in the family. The play can be revived somewhere else if need be. You cannot revive the dead family member. They're gone for. I don't believe. This is why you liberals are getting bit back in the butt because of your stupidity. You say stuff like this, and I'm thinking, before I might be on your side, I think this is stupid, him canceling the show because there's not enough Asian actors, I guess, around for you to put on an Asian production. But then you go around saying, well, this is like a death in the family, man. This is worse. I lose all sympathy for you if I ever had any. I don't even empathize with you now. And that's just a stupid thing to say. And you get bit in the butt because of your stupidity. I mean, liberalism is just stupidity. It's really what, and it's wrapped up and masked like it's smart stuff, but it's really not. It's idiocy, it's stupidity, it's craziness, it's insanity, and if you get hurt by it when you're touting it, that's your own problem. Now, the playwright, who's out of New York City, never saw any of the rehearsals, just promotional tweets of the actors. All of the actors were white, with the exception of one biracial student. So you got 6 actors, 5 of them are white, 1 is biracial. Evidently, not even the biracial one is of Asian descent. Canceled the play because it's an Asian play. I only write for Asian theaters and Asian audiences. I don't know about you. That sounds pretty racist to me. Hey, because only blacks, only African Americans can have African American plays with only African American actors for African American only audiences. Because everybody else who does that, if you have a white play with white actors for white audiences, oh, that's racist. So I would assume that because Asians are also not black, that would be racist of this playwright to do this. I'm just saying. Oh, but yeah. This is the kind of idiocy that is happening on our campus. Well, look, I've warned you people on the left that you are eventually going to get busted for your own idiocy and stupidity. Here's a follow-up, New York Times. Here's a follow-up to a story that I brought you a couple of weeks ago about teenagers being charged for having naked pictures of themselves on their phones. Yeah, remember that? And there's a couple of stories that happened all at once back in October, and these teens are facing a lifetime of punishment and having to register as I don't. I've asked the question, how is it a crime if you're 17 years old, you take a picture of yourself fully nude on your camera phone, and then you turn 18? Now it's illegal because it's pornography. But if you're 16 years old, you take a picture of yourself nude, and you send that picture to your 16-year-old girlfriend, well, now you've supposedly committed the crime of transmitting child pornography. I don't think that's what the law was intended for. But this is what these kids who are doing all this sexting are getting. All over, they're getting caught up in this. I mean, all these teenagers think it's kind of cool. Yeah, hey, they're in love with their boyfriend or girlfriend. Doesn't homosexual, doesn't matter. They're in love with their boyfriend or the girlfriend, and they send them a nudie of themselves, and trying to get them all riled up and that kind of stuff, and then they send the nudie back and blah blah blah. And before you know it, somehow somebody else sees the picture on the phone, snatches the phone from the kid, calls the police. The police come in and say, "You're under arrest for child pornography." And the kid looks up and says, "What do you mean? I'm a child, and that's a picture of me." No, it doesn't matter. Child pornography, you're going to jail. So now, prosecutors weigh teenage sexting. Is it folly or is it felony? Yes, it's folly. They used to do this a long time ago with just regular pictures. I never did it, but look, we didn't have phones to send pictures, but trust me, I've gotten nudie pictures when I was a teenager from girls before. While in high school, I guess they would have been. I would have been guilty of possessing child pornography at the age of 16 or 14, and they would have been guilty of disseminating child pornography at the age of 14. Go figure. Who knew? We didn't know. But in this particular case, in Cannon High School in Colorado, more than 100 students were apparently exchanging nude pictures, and the district attorney is trying to sort out potential charges. There are no charges to sort out. Leave it alone. You just tell the parents, let the parents deal with it. Why do we have to have the government coming in and stepping in again? Now, the high school sweethearts, in this particular case, were 16 when they traded nude cell phone pictures. There was no evidence of coercion or harassment or anything nefarious, but under a literal interpretation of North Carolina law, each had distributed child pornography. They're 16. Taking pictures and disseminating pictures of themselves. Now, in February, prosecutors in Fayetteville charged 2 teenagers with the felony of exploiting a minor themselves. They exploited themselves, which could have brought them years in prison and decades on the sex offender registry for privately sharing images of themselves. Now, after an outcry, both were eventually allowed to plead instead to misdemeanors. They should have had to plead to anything. If I have a nude picture of myself, I don't care what my age is, I have the right to control that image of myself with who and share it with whomever I wish. It's of me. And this, again, is government overstepping its bounds and overstepping its authority and creating criminals out of people who are otherwise not criminals or law-abiding citizens. I know some people will say, well, that's the massive prison complex industry, Rod. They need to have those cells filled. Well, all I can say is don't take any pictures of yourself nude and pass them around, because you're breaking the law somewhere. I'm just telling you that. I'm Rod Eccles. Have a great weekend, folks. See you again here next week. I'm out.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network. Compelling and entertaining talk.
Don't touch that dial.